Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, welcome. One day I'll get this right. Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist. I think it's working. I'll give this one another go. Welcome, Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist. Thank you for joining me. Today we are talking about top tips on surviving burnout early. Oh, gosh, so let me know where you are from. That would be super awesome. And if you've got any questions, bang them up into the comments and I will try and answer those as I go along today. So thank you for joining me. This one really came about because I'm hearing more and more about burnout. More and more, and it's breaking my heart that people get themselves to a place of burnout because there's different levels of burnout. So I thought today, when I talk about top tips on surviving burnout early, this will give you just a little bit of movement to allow you to function, breathe, carry on, love your life, basically. So even my subject, I want to break down a couple of words. So surviving. So when I've got top tips on, we know what top tips are. Surviving. So the word surviving to me comes across as that your head is just above water. You're just getting yourself out and you're just slowly breathing little bits, and every time you just start glugging a little bit of water, but you're actually just feels like you're surviving. And it's like one step at a time. Just make sure my sound's up. One step at a time that we're just, this is where I am. Sometimes you'll feel there's 5 steps forward and 3 back. Sometimes you'll feel there's 5 steps forward and 10 back. And this is what it's about, surviving. And it's another way of saying getting by. Just surviving. I'm getting by. You know, if you say to someone, how are you going? They go, I'm getting by. You know what that means. I'm surviving. I'm surviving, not thriving. That old saying, let's survive and not thrive. And then there's burnout. And burnout is one that is such a heavy word. If someone says, oh, I'm feeling burnt out, you all of a sudden start feeling like you're taking on their stuff. And burnout to me is exhausted, pooped, just, And you know that one when your shoulders are no longer sitting back, you're actually, and you can feel it if I say burnout. And you can always go to a time where you've seen someone or watched something on TV or whatever, or watched something or heard something and they've talked about burnout. And another way of putting it is that you're drained. And when I say you're drained emotionally, like you just cannot take any more in, or physically, that your body can't move. Oh, nice. And your body can't move anymore is the other thing. So when you think you're drained, you know those ones where you just literally feel like you're done. You know, your text message goes off at 8 o'clock at night and you're like, I can't, I don't even want to open that phone. You know those ones when you're like that. And when I talk about early, for top tips on surviving burnout early means before it gets worse. Before it gets worse. Before that escalation of the snowball coming down the hill, before it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and wipes you out completely. So there's different levels of burnout. And I'm just going to keep referencing the word burnout. There's different levels of burnout. And one of the levels is your physical symptoms. And this is a massive part that comes into you because you have your emotional symptoms and you have your little symptoms and your little warnings, etc. But your physical symptoms they start with just the little stuff. Now, when I say little stuff, I know this is not a little thing, but it is a headache. So all of a sudden you start going, oh, I've got a headache. You know those times when haven't had a headache for yonks and you start getting a head explosion and you're like, oh, I can start feeling it. And that headache can sometimes come to, oh, I need to just have one eye open. Oh, gosh, it's bright in here. Oh, I don't know if I can do this. And you go, okay, I'll just drink some water. I'll just stand outside for a minute and then I'll carry on. So this is a different level of the start of your burnout. And I say the start because it does start somewhere. It's whether we're open and honest and can see the levels early. So you go, oh, I've got a headache. Oh, I've got a headache. Now, if you don't deal with that headache, it gets worse. You know that. So it may go away with 2 pills, 3 pills, 4 pills, whatever. It may go away with whatever works for you. But if you haven't resolved what that headache's about, it's going to come back. It may not come back for a week, but it will come back. I can assure you the issues will come back at a bigger scale than they were beforehand, and not necessarily when you want them to. So if you don't deal with that headache, and they come and they come and they come, a year down the track, you're going to go into hospital. As an example, you're going to end up in hospital because you have such heavy things that's going to immobilize your side, immobilize your body, and it's all stemmed from that headache that you had back then, a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, that you didn't recognize that's a sign of burnout. Now, I'm not saying a headache is the only sign of burnout. It's just one of those signs that means there's a lot of chaos going on in your mind, because your mind tells your body what to do. Your body tells your mind what to do. And if they're not in alignment, you're buggered. So that's a nicer way of putting it. So there's different levels. So that's why you want to pick up the burnout early. When you get that headache, you have to stop straight away. So there's the top tips. Here's my top tips on surviving burnout. So, 1, breathe. Now, if I told you to breathe, you're like, I am breathing, I'm breathing. Like, I'm clearly breathing now. My energy's high, I'm breathing. That's fine. But I want you to breathe as slow as you want, not fast that you're going to hyperventilate and you're going to need a paper bag or anything like that. I want you to breathe as slow as you want. And it is simple as this. In through your nose and out through your mouth. So, just what I just did then. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Now, that is the most important one, but we don't do it often enough. We do breathe, but we don't actually acknowledge our breath. So stop, go as slow as you want, inhale it as much as you want, exhale it as much as you want. I'm not saying count to 7 going in, count to 7 going out. There's a lot of people saying that, a lot of people saying 3. There's a lot of people saying 4. I really personally don't care how many you do, as long as you don't pass yourself out, but just breathe. Breathe in what feels comfortable, and then breathe out. It is such a simple one, and that already slows down the burnout process. So that's breathe. Number 2 is trust. And when I talk about trust, this is a massive one. So there's 3 levels of trust. There's trust in yourself. Yeah, there's trust in yourself. And this is things you've said and done before that you've got shame and guilt that you're holding on to, anything. Trust in yourself that you can make the wisest decisions with what you have right here, right now. You can't undo back then, but you can undo how you move forward. So trust in self. The other is trust in others. Now, this is actually an interesting one because we think we can trust ourselves, but often we can't trust others because we're holding on to a story or a belief from something back there that we still haven't let go of. So trust in others. And the third is trust in the universe. Some people call it a God, like the universe. Trust in the greater good as we talk about it. Trust that car's going to weave into your traffic at that time. Trust that it's going to rain at the most perfect time. Trust that whatever. So the universe, the things that are actually out of your control. So you have to have trust. And that's your 3 levels of trust. Self, and I'm sure as I said this, you're starting to think about things. Others, that they've done or not done to you that you're holding on to. And the third is the universe. And I just call it the universe because it's far greater of my knowledge to do that. So they're the 3 things you must trust that are going to do the best thing at the right time. Then number 3, we're going to go back to breathing again. And you probably wouldn't have thought that was going to be number 3. So number 3 is breathing again. But this time when you're doing this and this, I want you to put your hand on your heart. Put your hand on your heart. Hand on your heart. And breathe. And do that breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And if you can do that, it just allows you to take another deeper sense of who you are and what you're here for. So in through the nose, out through the mouth, and hand on your heart. Whatever way you want to put that hand on that heart. Hand on that heart. And that just slows everything down. And then, do you know the other thing I'm going to get you to do? Is trust again. And we're taking it back to trust, because you must have an absolute trust, all will work out. And if you can think of a time when something has happened to you previously and it's gone spiraled out of control and it's gone to mayhem stage, or you think mayhem stage, when it's gone to that complete level of, I don't even know who I am anymore, or whatever level it comes to, you've worked through that and you're here surviving right here, right now. So go to that trust again to know that you've survived that, whatever that is, and you're here dealing with life right now. So that's that level of trust that that's happened before. I can do this. I can handle myself with anything. So then the next step, breathe, trust, breathe, trust. So number 5 is, do you know what I'm going to say? Breathe again. I'm going to say breathe again. And the reason I say breathe again is I want you to put your hand on your heart. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. This is a great one to do even if you're sitting in traffic and things are getting chaotic. Breathe in and out. Feel yourself. So when I say feel yourself, just feel that breath in and out, and you can feel your shoulders relax. So just breathe. Breathe. Hand on the heart. Feel yourself. Feel your breathing and feel that trust. Okay, so once you've done that, there's another level that's going to come to you. But just doing that alone is enough to make you just stop, swallow, and appreciate. Okay, so once you've done that and you're starting to feel a little bit calmer and your shoulders are starting to go down, I want you to then use your eyes and ears and awareness and see the lessons. See what's going on around you. Because as I said earlier, if you don't see the lessons, you know they're going to get bigger next time. So it's wiser to, when I said about burnout early, it's wiser to see the lessons earlier than before it gets to that cray-cray stage. So once you see the lessons, I want you to enjoy the journey that you've been on. Now, enjoy the journey is quite an interesting one. So Dr. John DeMartini, who's a human behavioral specialist, is one of my mentors, and he says everything's on the way, not in the way. And so when you're on that journey, it really shows you that you're on your way to things, not in the way. And I'm actually going to reference The Wizard of Oz and with the yellow brick road, which I'm sure you know the story. If you don't, Google it. But, you know, there was Dorothy, there was the Tin Woodman, there was the Scarecrow, and then there was the Lion. Now, all of those wanted something different. They didn't appreciate what they had right here, right now. So the Tin Woman wanted a brain. That, yep, okay, I get that. Tin Woman wanted a brain. The Scarecrow wanted a heart. And the Cowardly Lion, you know what he wanted? He wanted courage. So when you think about that, they got on the yellow brick road and they joined Dorothy and Toto, and they wanted to get to that. Now, they had to, if they said everything's in the way, they would have seen complications, but it was all on the way for them to find their brain, their heart, and their courage. Now, I'm going to ruin the story. They already had it, but they needed to find that along that yellow brick road. So that was actually part of being on the way. Everything's on the way. So your journey may look different to what you thought it was going to look like, if I was to say that. So when we look at how they got there, they did go through that. They found their brain, they found their heart, they found their courage, and they got there in the end. But they actually had it on the way. But they were expecting to go see the person, the wizard at the end, and see the man, woman, the wizard, and be handed that stuff. But they actually found it on their journey. So it's a really great one to stop and reflect. And I'd actually encourage you to even watch it. If you've got the time, go and watch it, because it's a real cute story that's got a lot of little spins in there about your mindset without you even knowing. So once you've done that, when you've enjoyed the journey, I want you to look at how are the lessons blessings. And when I talk about blessings, what are the gratitude that you've found from that particular issue that's happened to you, or that event or non-event? How has that been a benefit to you? And so when we think about Dorothy, actually I don't even know what Toto was in there for. What was Toto? Was he just like for a ride? That would be my dog. My dog, Ben. I'm surprised he hasn't come in yet. He's just all for the ride. He would just easily have a front pack and be carried around. But anyway, enough about Ben. So I don't know what Toto was on. Let me know, because I don't actually know what Toto was about. Yeah, I'd love to know that one. But you'll see that with Dorothy, she connected with people. She helped find them. She helped find herself. She also got what she was looking for in the end. So how are those lessons, blessings to you at that time? Pen and paper, sit and regurgitate and start thinking about those things. And also want to say another thing is protect your energy. So this burnout is, yes, this is all part of the journey, but you must protect your energy. And I just put on social media today about energy vampires, and they will suck the life out of you for their greater good. So think about those energy vampires. Make sure you've got your own bubble, and only certain people can come into your bubble and can come out. When you've done with them, let them go. So think about that energy vampire. So protect your energy, what sits right for you, and it's okay to say no. I did a no video recently, so jump back and have a look at that. And the very last thing I'm going to say, the very last thing is take time out that suits you and be guilt-free from it. Now, I'm not talking about sitting on the beach. I'm not talking about just lying down on the couch and doing nothing. I'm talking about whatever works for you. If you want to go on a hike up a hill, go for it. Not my kind of thing if I'm trying to avoid burnout or appreciate my burnout. You know, for me, it's about something very different. So if you want to sit on the beach, go for it. But you've got to do something that stimulates your mind, because otherwise your mind is going to go into overdrive and it's not going to be that great for you. So take time out. And that is my top tips. That is my top tips for surviving burnout. I want to thank you for joining me here today. If you've got any questions, let me know. Other than that, I will see you next week, or jump onto my YouTube and you'll see all my other ones. So if you found some value in this, let me know. Share it, get this message out there, and love yourself for who you are. Love yourself for who you are right here, right now. So that's me over and out. I thank you for joining. I will see you next week. Thanks, team. Bye.